Salutations. I'm here with James Gilliland. Thank you, James, who had me out to the ranch for this year's conference. I want to say first, thank you, man. This was phenomenal. I've always had a lot of fun each time I've been out here. Had my perception blasted, a few other things, but this time it was really about the people and about the attendees and the vibe there. It was a very high vibration. I myself was blown away by the support, the encouragement, and kind of the come forward attitude of the group. It was really nice. And different cultures there of all different types. I just wanted to know kind of what your take on it was and how it was maybe a little bigger than most of them. The first one I was at like 150 here, but this time it was over 300. And you could
almost
tell.
400 basically. That's what Benita said. The final count was almost 400 people came through here. But wow, it was. What made it, like you're saying, all of the speakers were really high caliber, including you. You did an awesome presentation. Everybody loved it.
Thank you.
And it was just one knock it out of the ballpark after another. Everybody's presentations were just amazing. And all the speakers were unified and supported each other. The people were all together there. There was no disruptions. Well, there's one minor disruption. We won't go into Mr. High's nonsense, but other than that, it was just incredible. And with that many people here, it went like almost problem free. It was unbelievable. That's never happened before. We used to have all kinds of problems, right down to physical problems, plumbing problems, things like that. But no, everything was just great stuff. Everything just moved really smoothly.
The information that was presented by everybody really correlated and tied in so much. And that's why I came forward. I wanted to see people coming together, but especially contactees as well of all different cultures. And I'd still yet to see the scientific community get involved, but I hope that comes. But some of the speakers, for instance, like some of them are controversial, like Corey Good. I always get asked about him. I'm not very well known, but I haven't never met the guy till recently. And I'll tell you, he's nothing like what I would have thought. And we must have talked privately for at least 5 hours.
Wow.
Nice. And the stuff is, I really hope he gets the chance to relay all the information. It's a whole lot more than Blue Avians that guy's talking about.
Well, yeah,
I was impressed.
I couldn't argue with anything he said. It's the same information we've gotten identically, and in different groups, timelines, everything that he talked about. It's similar information. He had a couple revelations there, even for me, that, and I've been in this field for like 30 something years, but a couple things, that's, he put a couple pieces together on that one, and I go, okay, that's how that ties in, but I think it was so powerful when he was talking about these trans-dimensional, or he had another word for it, I can't remember what it was, about the wars going on, how they're temporal wars. They're different timelines and everything. They're all fighting to have their timeline come together, and it was just like, okay, that makes. I called it an interdimensional war, and he was calling it a temporal war, and it actually kind of refined it a little more for me to understand what was going on.
That was the best social representation of a description of a time war I've ever heard. Even a little bit beyond science fiction, that was incredible. So that was enjoyable. You had John remote viewing. Did video with him yesterday. Some of the data compared to what I have as well is incredible. He did chupacabra, so we went into all that stuff.
It all supports each other, which is amazing. It totally supports. All the information. What I noticed, it totally supports each other's. A little bit of it would overlap, but it would go deeper into it. And the women, it's like, if I can say this on the air, but we had some ass-kicking women here that were just calling it like it is, very in their divine feminine power, and just it was the way they were coming forward. And I know this is going to launch their careers even more, which I really love. And they didn't pull any punches. They just called it out and covered in depth a lot of different. Everything from AI to unseen negative influences to how to regain your power and I don't know. There were so many different things they covered. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was really fun and unique. Different things that a lot of things I hadn't seen, and I had so many conversations out here that just blew me away. That
Yeah.
even as much as or more than normal. Now I'm less than 12 hours from getting out of here, so I'm wondering, do I escape this time without anything to blast my perception? It's always after the conference that this stuff goes down,
No, tonight you'll probably have a little experience, but
Yeah, okay.
they're not going to let you get away.
Oh man, I'll tell you, but in some ways, when you leave, the place goes with you, and kind of the blessings of it, and it exercises the trauma.
And the ships follow you too. Yeah. People that come here and they see the ships and everything, they go home and they go, "Hey, the same thing's happening at my place now too." So I think that's amazing because and I don't know if the ships actually follow them home or now their awareness has been opened up to where now they're looking for the ships or it might be both. I don't know.
Both. Kind of like they say, kind of like how they say Sasquatch can follow people home in the forest, from like 30 miles away or something. Or they don't know if that's the 100 monkey theory or what that is.
Well, I think Sasquatch can teleport wherever Sasquatch wants to teleport. It's amazing because I've seen it turn into a ball of light and just go across the field, and then re-manifest itself. I've seen it just phase out, and I've seen so many things happen with Bigfoot that, I know they have another name, but that's the one everybody uses, so we'll just use that. But it's beautiful beings. I mean, I love them. And that Delaki, the young one here, he breaks all the rules, because they kind of have a don't interact with humans rule. Especially the elders all go by that. But Delaki's kind of like a little juvenile delinquent.
Well, it's interesting because whenever I remember growing up, if I ever had friends that kind of had some of their parents were kind of like agoraphobic, so you never really saw them until they got in trouble. Your friend got in trouble, the parents had to come out. So
exactly.
I think that might be what's kind of happening out here as well. One thing before you finishing up, James, is I've been out here 3 times, and not once had I seen the field out there with your binoculars, your infrareds. That really blew me away.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you see so much activity that almost nobody can debunk that. And some of the craft you see going in way I'm pretty familiar. Like some of these are so far out beyond even Alpha Centauri that we're seeing them going from galaxy to galaxy. I watched it. That's off the chain. I mean, that's not just multidimensional, and what we know about warp physics, that's taking it to a new level.
Mm-hmm. And we don't know how big they are either. That's the thing, is we have no idea how big they are, and because we don't know the distance, so we might be seeing a ship that looks like a quarter that you're holding up, and it might be a mile wide or more,
like a Dyson sphere.
Yeah. So, and some of these ships are like, you'll see a ball of light there, and that ball, because of physics, is the particles are smaller in the higher dimensions, and so if you walked into that ball, it's like 1,200 times bigger than what you see. Mm-hmm, and so it's a whole, just that little ball of light. If you went into it, you'd see a whole massive ship and all kinds of beings on that ship and everything else. So we have to really do the research and understand, quantum physics and things to understand what's going on. And you're talking about the scientists that are not getting behind this, and we've had a lot of triple PhD Boeing engineers and all these other people have come up here, NASA people, Skunkworks people, all of them, and they know this is real. They know what's going on. And I've had talks with them, and some of them challenge me when I go to talks and events, and I said, your science, you agreed there's at least 11 dimensions. It's actually infinite. It's bigger than that. So, you take this dimension alone, and you've got how many million? Mihal was talking about that lead width of Goldilocks planets. Like, wasn't it 300 billion or something like that? Something ridiculous number of planets. They're in Goldilocks orbits that could support life. Some of them are hundreds, thousands, millions of years, even billions of years ahead of us in evolution. And that's just in this third dimension. And then you've got the fourth dimension is even bigger than this dimension, and then it goes on out from there. And to me, it's like I don't see how anybody in their right mind could actually believe that we're it. that we're the only ones here, and a really advanced civilization probably wouldn't interact with this. We're dangerous. We're very dangerous. Aggressive, dangerous, fearful, religious beings, and we'd either want to kill them or knock them out and take their technology and use it for war, or worship them, and they don't want any of that. So they're waiting for us to rise to the occasion.
Well, you remember the movie star, man.
Jeff
Bridges. He was answering the Voyager that was sent out there, and what did they do? They blasted him immediately when he got in the atmosphere.
Exactly.
So that is something. But I'd woke up probably it's been maybe a year ago now. Fast radio bursts. They'll send information sometimes. And, man, I didn't know what that was. I had to look it up. But seeing that those are those trails they're finding out in deep space that they can't actually explain, and there's a chance that those are mega structures jumping into hyperdimension. I think that's what I was witnessing out there in those infrared. Everybody laughed at me because I was like a little kid. Whoa! But I've been out here a bunch of times. I had never seen those, and seen at that point you see how little space is between the stars.
Oh yeah.
So it's fascinating.
Yeah, you look up at the Milky Way, and you can see there's a lot of stars in the Milky Way. And when you take the night vision goggles and look up, you go, "Holy smokes! There's 10 more universes there that I couldn't see."
Yeah. Oh, that is great. Anything else you want to add in, James?
The main thing is where things are going right now is so important that we adhere to universal law, which is basically universal peace and brother-sisterly love and individual freedom and prosperity for everyone, and get out of all these separation games that are being played right now, because they're playing race cards, gender cards, culture cards, and all this other stuff. And we all came from the same source. We all go back to the same source. And we need to meet on that level, meet on a spiritual level, and transcend all this stuff. And these other guys, these negative forces right now, and they're coming at us right now because we've had this message for years. And we've been calling them out, and there's kind of a satanic Luciferian network out there that is really going after the light workers and big time right now. And do some research on these people and find out who they are, what their beliefs are, what they're connected to, and each time you follow the money, it goes back to the same groups, and the deep state or New World Order or whatever you want to call them, which are tied into all these satanic Luciferian worshiping groups, and so right now we're at this crossroads where people are going to have to really do their own research and look into these people. And I always tell you, wonder who they are. Look who's attacking us, and they're attacking Corey Good and myself and Peter Slattery and quite a few others out there that are really bringing a positive message and to Earth. So you'll know them by their fruits, by their deeds and their actions.
After coming forward, that's one of the things that really disappointed me about both the communities, New Age and ufology, is the people that were attacking and trying to just make everything so horrible that the whole thing isn't taken serious. Mm-hmm. That's another reason that the trusting science community hasn't come in as well, and I want that to change, and it messes up the whole information. There's people just looking for answers, and I mean it's about just killing the information, man. It's really disconcerting. It was disappointing, but when I see something like this conference, it was real. I mean, everybody was willing to give information, as much as they could, Corey included. We did a video on black extraterrestrials, something people want to talk about. I don't always talk about that constantly, but bringing attention to it and
I want to hear that. I want to hear what he has to say.
It's good. I can't wait to put everything out as soon as I get home. I'll edit it.
Great,
out, so.
There's and I'm just saying right now, it boils down to, are you creating heaven on earth? What are you putting out there? And garbage is as garbage does. I hate to say it, it's really simple. And just the vitriol and the hate and the slanderous assumptions and all this crap that's going out by people. And these people, I've never met them. I don't even know who they are. I've never even met them. They've never been here. They've never taken a workshop or a class. And this weekend is just an example of what's been going on here for a long time, for like 30 years, where people are all coming together. There's no guru. They're free-thinking people that want to explore higher consciousness and energy. and they come back changed and have awesome experiences, and it's been going on for so long. And to me, in my mind, I go, how could you attack this? Wow. Why would anybody want to stop this or attack this? And then I started researching. I go, oh, okay, I know who these guys are now. Mm-hmm. And they feed off of that energy. They feed off of all the anger and againstness and the fighting and all that stuff. They actually, that's their job. That's their and we need to weed them out of the community, basically, and just by not participating. Yeah.
It does. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy.
Oh, it is.
And we don't have that kind of time on this planet right now.
Yeah.
To waste.
And I actually have fun with it.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, I go, oh, this is gonna be fun. Let's go with this one.
Yeah.
So they're not hurting me. They're only establishing their own ignorance and character, basically. But I fire away. I can have all the fun in the world with it. I just put humor in there too.
I got a bunch of messages. Some guy sent this deal. Some guy was saying that you have paid me a bunch of money to lie about the holographic mount. I was like, man, we could come up with something better than that. But people that say that all the time, I'm not even bothered to come out here. They've not been here.
Oh, yeah.
They
checked it out. We don't pay anybody to do anything here.
People will say, you say it's true, he was paid.
Well, that's what I do.
Man, you're gonna get arrows. You get arrows shot at me again.
I just laugh at this stuff. You got to make humor out of it. That's all you can do. Because it's gotten so ridiculous. I mean, there's people, that they'll say like I'm a pedophile, and I've been very, very instrumental in exposing the pedophile movement and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. And they say you're this and you're I'm the head of a Russian bestiality movement. Whatever that is. I don't even know what that is, and I've never been to Russia. I've never even been to Russia.
Is that medieval? Or?
Yeah. And then, everything's faked here, like the tens of thousands of people that have come up here and filmed their ships and seen them themselves. And top people in every walk of life. We're talking triple PhD born engineers. They're all liars. They don't know what they're looking at. I don't know who these armchair investigators are because they have no degrees or nothing anyway. But you hear all this stuff and you're going, and then they go, oh, he's gay, and then he's a womanizer and he's this and that, and I'm going, look, these things are totally opposed. You can't have all these things together, and then one woman's great. She was all over the net. I've got you now, I've got you.
Was that the turning the tables out there? That one?
No, oh yeah, that was another one. Yeah. Well, one goes, I got you now. I found you in the record, and somebody has the same first and last name, but it's James Wilson, and my name's James Allen. And so I sent her a copy of my driver's license, and they never apologized. They kept running this story, but the one you mentioned was hilarious, where somebody went on coast to coast, and she said these black helicopters came in, these guys in camo jumped out, they drugged everybody with some drug everybody knows about. I don't even know what it is, but they drugged all these people, right? And then they herded them all down in the basement, and women were being raped and children, and they were screaming, and then they killed all the children, and then the whole ground opened up and everybody was swallowed. And all the buildings were blown up, and everybody died.
They were turning over the tables.
Turn the tables. Yeah, there was over 200 people there. They all died. And I go, you think if 200 people died, they'd create an investigation, or something. And the buildings are all still here. And I couldn't believe they let her go on coast to coast and tell this story. They just let her keep going, and I would have gone. One time I'd go, well. It's like, when we just talked to James and the buildings are all still there and he's not in jail and there's nobody's been harmed and there's been no murder and you really think about it, we have a 30-something year track record of nothing, no harm, no injuries, nothing. We're doing something right here.
Which is good because there are Sasquatch roaming around here. They do interact with people, and given that some of them are probably 10 foot plus tall. Oh, yeah. That's good to know because they want to get us. They get us. They're definitely friendly. Peaceful.
But there is a higher security here. That there's higher dimensional beings and masters appearing here, and we're getting photographs of them, and it's all because we're rising to the occasion. We're rising in consciousness, and they're supportive of that. They're like cosmic cheerleaders, just like the light ships are too, and they're going, yeah, keep going, you know.
Oh, wow.
And then you got these other guys, which we won't even mention their names, but it's so ridiculous. I just, the stuff they come up with, I said, come on, you can do better than that. I've been slandered by the best.
Well, it certainly didn't work on this one. This conference was great.
Oh yeah,
the vibration was great. Yeah.
That's what everybody said. They said this was the most awesome conference they've ever been to. They said the lineup was the most awesome lineup they've ever seen.
Awesome.
And they said the people here were just incredible. Everybody was interacting. And what they said to me was funny. They said there was no woo-woo here.
What is the
There's no woo-woo here.
What is the woo-woo?
And that when you get really out there and weird. And,
okay, that's what I thought. Yeah,
yeah,
I've been hearing that a lot lately.
Like I'm married to Metatron, and I have 10 kids from him, or weird stories. Like none of that's going. None of that was happening here. It might have been happening out in the field. Somebody having a private conversation. I don't know. But no, it was all really solid people, and the people were interacting. There was I didn't see any negative interactions anywhere. That was it. It was on every level. So.
It was nice. I appreciate you inviting me here. It was a pleasure to speak here again. Each time it's been a blast, but this time was really special too. So
awesome.
Thank you, James.
You're always welcome here.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that. So this is my friend, I'm happy to say, honored to say, James Gilliland. Please subscribe if you like the work being here, and check it out. And I appreciate everybody that has. Please check me out on Patreon also. There's a lot of good work there, almost 50 videos as well. So this is done in the name of consciousness and the Prime Creator. Peace.
All right. Peace out.